Tonight, Mello TV poll conducted by pollster Bill Johnson will reveal findings of the favorability and approval ratings for leader of the P.N.P, Dr. Peter Phillips and Peter Bunting. Residents of Salt River in Clarendon are pleading with the government for better water supply. Still tonight, Chief Medical Officer in the Ministry of Health, Dr. Jacqueline BISASOR-MCKENZIE, says not enough time has passed to determine whether persons who have had COVID-19 will develop immunity to the virus. And Ministry of Education advises that it will only be facilitating the transfer of students who were placed in a school considered to be far from their home following the recent release of PEP scores.
Good evening. The Mello TV poll conducted by pollster and executive director of Johnson Survey and Research Limited, Bill Johnson, will reveal findings of the favorability and approval ratings for the People's National Party's leader, Dr. Peter Phillips and Peter Bunting. Who will make a better opposition leader? Should Dr. Phillips step down? Host Nicole Hales will be joined by political commentator Linton Gordon and political analyst Paul Bourne to answer these questions. Now, our news team went out to ask persons whom they favor as their leader, and this is what they had to say.
None of the two of them give young people a chance to give Andrew Holness a run for money. Because right now, none of the old one, them, Peter Bunting, Paul, well, none of them cannot give Holness a run for money now. Give back Chachi Damian Crawford a chance. Because him is for the people. So if he said them give Damian Crawford a chance, I think maybe him will give Holness a run for money. But otherwise than that, the old people have need for go.
You see too much corruption and you know, see them do nothing for really was the country, you know. Because GLP party a better party still to me right now. Me a P.N.P, you know, but I have to switch because I'm not going with nothing. But I mean, I rate the two of them, you know. The only some of them I really like to see come back, you know, Damian, you know. Because Damian would be a better leader for the party.
In news from Clarendon, residents of the Salt River community are pleading with the government to provide them with better infrastructure in order to supply them with water. More on this story with Killeen May.
Residents of Salt River community in southeast Clarendon say they are in dire need of water and are asking the government for assistance.
From I was a kid, I would never have no water here, and I'm 60 now plus. We get some tanks over the years. We kind of get 2 up here, 1 down there, a couple up on the road up there. In all, we have maybe about 8 or 9 so maybe once every other week or so we get water in them, but they don't take no time to finish. As we say, yesterday water full up in those 2 right there, and we don't have none right now.
I'm 53 years of age and I'm sick and tired of carrying water like a donkey. Look at the place. They promise you water over and over. Until now, no water. I have to leave my yard and go different places to live. See my house down by the bottom there? I have to leave because nothing of the day. Every plant, every tree dried down. And all we get a promise is the water run from Micheltown and come right at which part we stand up here so. And from when they say they won't give you liquor water until now. And those things are slackness.
Election, they promise we everything. And we can't take the promises no more. We need some water by this right now. Because we don't have no water for use, we don't have no water for bathe, we don't have no water. We have to carry water from here, so we have to buy all barrel to bring up the water.
One business operator says her livelihood has been affected due to the lack of water supply.
Water, when you touch water, you touch a delicate point in this district. We have been without running water for years. And I am 49 years old now. And we have been without water. If we don't buy water here, we don't have any water. And for out here at this business, if we don't buy water to fill the tanks, we cannot go on with business because, you know, you have to keep things well sanitized. And during this COVID time, now we need water more than ever.
Counsel for the Hayes Division of Southeast Clarendon, Cian Barneswell, in speaking with our news team, said that a plan and a budget was approved for the development of a water system for the area.
The community of Salt has been without water since the closure of the Monimus sugar factory. The residents would benefit from the irrigation water from a nearby canal, but since the closure, there is no longer electricity at the pump which would provide that irrigation water. And as a result, the residents are now in dire need of water. Their livelihood is being affected. Many of the residents depended on the fruits and other crops to survive, but with the lack of the water, there's literally no more fruit trees within the area itself. Now, the National Water Commission, through the Rural Water, has provided a water supply system from the Hayes community, where they have a system at Hayes, but they should have really routed through Salt River and then connected to the other nearby communities. Now, the supply is now meters away from 2 wayside tanks, and it leads me to wonder, why is it taking the government this long for them now to make available the $30 million that they use in the by-election, which could have used to provide water for the residents of Salt River. I'm talking about some 400 residents being affected. And I call upon the minister, I beg of you, make available the fund that is there. The drawing is already being done. This is far in the system. I've done this when the P.N.P was in office. It was already at the Ministry of Water at the time. And I know it's there. The drawing is there, the costing is there, the procurement needs to be done so that the residents can get water. And I beg you, please, I'm appealing on behalf of the residents because it is dire now, there's no rainfall, and the residents are in a terrible state.
The People's National Party P.N.P caretaker for Southeast Clarendon, Patricia Duncan Sutherland, says for too long the community of Salt River has been suffering due to lack of water, and something must be done to fix the issue.
From I came into this area in 2015, the first thing I heard about was the issue of water in Salt River. This community was constructed without any access to running water, and they've been crying for it from it was developed. It is a challenge for us in this country because we politicize everything. But the truth of the matter is that this is an area that votes primarily PNP on election day, and this area, in terms of the Member of Parliament representation, has been JLP for the last 18 years. And I'm not sure if that has anything to do with it, but it's just strange now that all of a sudden the funds have been diverted. And I'm calling for water for Salt River to be delivered now. No, I understand that the mayor came down here and had a meeting sometime last week, right? But again, we are saying, let this not be another empty promise. We want the water now.
Reporting for Mello TV News, I'm Colleen May.
Still making news tonight, Chief Medical Officer in the Ministry of Health, Dr. Jacqueline BISASOR-MCKENZIE, says not enough time has passed to determine whether persons who have had COVID-19 will develop an immunity to the virus. According to Dr. BISASOR-MCKENZIE, it is still too early to determine if and when persons develop antibodies, if those antibodies will prevent them from getting the virus again, and if so, how long they will be protected. The CMO also pointed out that there are some infections that will give lifelong immunity and some that will give shorter immunity. She said the ministry does not have all the information on the SARS-CoV-2 against other coronaviruses that have seen an immunity period of 2 to 3 years, adding that many persons are hoping that this is the kind of immunity that will be conferred by COVID-19. Still making news tonight, tablets were handed out to public sector teachers island-wide under the Tablet for Teachers program earlier today. More on this story with Tamara Michael.
The government handed out tablets to public sector teachers island-wide under the Tablet for Teachers program at the Hope Valley Experimental School in Kingston earlier today. Minister of Science, Energy and Technology Favour Williams, in her address to the teachers, says that in this time when the country is experiencing a pandemic, students and teachers must have access to educational materials.
If we can provide the technology to our students with disabilities, we can reduce levels of illiteracy and improve the education and socioeconomic prospects of our students. COVID-19 has taught us that we need to go digital. I don't think there's anybody in Jamaica who would not agree with that right at this moment. In this digital age, all our teachers and students must be able to access lessons and material remotely so that no one is disenfranchised or left behind. We know that governments across the globe are investing heavily in education technologies, both prior to and in light of the COVID-19 pandemic. And we here in Jamaica are also in that situation in which we're investing. We need to adequately provide the training that our teachers need as well to be able to use equipment, as well as ensure that in our schools they have the necessary infrastructure, and that when the children leave school and go home, it's also present in their home, on the street corners, and just about everywhere. So that is a goal that we have at the ministry, to make access to the internet a right, not a privilege.
Minister Williams further said that the necessary mechanism must be put in place to ensure the continuation of education.
We cannot allow pandemics to disrupt the business of education. The future of our children is too important to not put mechanisms in place to facilitate remote learning. And today I'm pleased that we're helping to bridge this gap by providing the tablets to teachers. Ladies and gentlemen, I know we have big gaps to fill, but as a government we are committed to providing access to the internet and technological tools which will enhance learning at every level.
For Mello TV News, I am Tamar McHale.
In other news, the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information has advised that it will only be facilitating the transfer of students who are placed in schools considered to be far from their homes following the recent release of primary exit profile PEP scores. At a press conference on June 26 to announce the placement of the second cohort of students to sit the PEP exams, Education Minister Carl Samuda said up to 80% of the nearly 40,000 students were placed in a high school of their choice. Another 16%, 6,148, were placed in schools that are deemed to be in proximity to the schools they currently attend, while 4%, or 1,606, were manually placed in secondary level schools in proximity to the address they submitted at registration. In news from Portland, detectives there are seeking the public's assistance to locate two individuals who are witnesses in a case currently before the Port Antonio Parish Court. They are Howard Hamilton, whose last known address is Breastwork District, Portland, and Annette Foster, whose last known address is Bybrook District, also in Portland. Anyone knowing the whereabouts of Howard Hamilton and or Annette Foster is being asked to contact the Port Antonio Police at 876-993-2546, Police 119 emergency number, or the nearest police station. In news from the capital, the police have charged a man that was caught on video tussling with lawmen as they tried to arrest him in downtown Kingston on the weekend. The man has been identified as Philip Patterson of a Charles Street, Kingston 14 address. He has been charged with malicious destruction of property, resisting arrest, and assaulting a police constable. Police reports are that at about 11:15 a.m. on Saturday, July 4, cops were on mobile patrol on Beeston Street when they approached Patterson. He reportedly began behaving boisterously and was uncooperative. Police reports are that a large crowd gathered in Patterson's defense, which caused lawmen to use verbal commands and other non-lethal options. 2 rounds of ammunition were also discharged by a cop during the incident. The police stated that Patterson was later taken into custody and charged. In other news, Justice Minister Delroy Chuck is calling on stakeholders in the justice system to embrace the use of technology in order to enhance efficiency and create a first-class justice system. He says that incorporating technology into the justice process will not only speed up the delivery of justice but will assist in case scheduling, case flow, docket management, and jury selection. Providing technology solutions for the island's courts has become even more critical in light of the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic, which has resulted in some court processes being done virtually, including remote bail hearings and teleconferencing of verdict deliveries. Minister Chuck was speaking at the recent handover of audiovisual equipment for the island's courts at the St. Catherine Parish Court. The equipment, valued at $85 million, will facilitate testimonies from remote locations as well as make it easier to view and play back electronic evidence in court, record proceedings in real time, and digitize documents, among other capabilities. And those were the stories making news. I am Shelly Ann Hill. We now join Nicole Hales with Decision 2020.